Hi everyone. So I was sent a question about these problems, these kind of problems on the page 3 of the packets that you guys are working on, and I see so many of you have already submitted them. So I'm just going to address this for those of you who haven't. If you want to unsubmit and correct it, you can, or maybe you guys just did fine. We have seen, we've seen problems like this when we did our exponent rules to begin with, and we would recognize that this would be essentially this n cancels into the n squared. It leaves you with an n, so there's just 2n. But the question was about ones like these, where the 8 and the 10, like the 10 doesn't go evenly into the 8 and leave you with just a number. And so how do you address something like that? So I worked up an example that I'm going to walk through and then talk about how it applies to number 12. So essentially, I would still tell you to take this and break it into 18 over 10 times x to the 8th over x to the 3rd. So treat it like it's two separate fractions. And then I would start looking, and I would look for the greatest common factor in this first fraction. The greatest common factor is 2. Right? So you could rewrite 18 as 2 times 9, and you can rewrite 10 as 2 times 5. And then the 2's cancel out, and that, or divide to 1, and that leaves you with a 9 over 5. Likewise, I'm going to find the greatest common factor of the two x bases, and in this case, it's x to the 3rd. So this would be x to the 3rd times x to the 5th. And this would be x to the 3rd times 1, which means our x to the 3rds make that giant 1. And then this would become x to the 5th over 1. And when we put those back together, you don't have to figure out what 9/5 is as a decimal. You don't have to do any division. You're just going to multiply straight across the denominators and straight across the numerators. So it's 9x to the 5th over 5, and that is simply your answer. That's it. You don't have to rewrite this as something that's not a fraction. I think that you should practice doing this without negative exponents, so that's good, and that would apply to number 12 then. You're going to put that back together. It's going to be a fraction, and there's going to be a number up top, and there's going to be a number and a variable down below. It's just 12 and 14 on the quotients page on page 3. Those are the only two like that you have to do. The other ones are all multiplying together, and those rules are a little more straightforward. But if you have any other questions, just let me know, and I'm happy to help. I hope you guys are doing well. We'll talk to you later.